So, what's our intro gonna be?
I was planning on just making zombie noises through your intro.
Oh boy, we've got a Keith intro going. Okay.
Hello, Keith Sheldon from Keith Sheldon's National Power Rankings here. We've got a lovely bunch of power rankings, only on
A
sale.
lovely bunch of power rankings, all nice and sitting in a line.
See, here's the problem with that, Mr. Electric. You reference something people will get. I don't think a single person listening to these. Are there any Australians in the B Div?
Is there anyone? I think I assume it's national because
Yeah. Oh no.
it says national, right? But you also you didn't do the voice right. It's going to be Keith Sheldon's National Toils.
You have to get like the drowning out.
Hello.
Hello.
You need to focus the Keith more. Frank Walker here from Frank.
National Tiles.
It's classic. Australian wake up every morning to the Frank Walker's National Tiles ad, and then hear a sermon on 96.5. Because definitely other people here live in Brisbane and have grown up in Brisbane and know what the Brisbane radio stations
Yes.
are.
Anyway, welcome to the B Division Power Rankings. My name is Keith. I am one of the mods for WPF, and with me today is Mr. Electric.
I used to be one of the mods for WPF, and then Keith betrayed me, and now I'm no longer a mod.
I
for
did.
WPF.
It was like Lord of the Rings. I pushed him into a volcano.
Yeah, that was it. That definitely was the thing that happened in Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, this is for B Division Season 8.
Have you seen Lord of the? I don't think you've seen the Lord of the Rings.
I have. I'm trying to move this along.
I pushed it to
So we're gonna start.
Just like Lord of the Rings, that was the thing that happened there.
This has all happened
so
before
number
any.
16 was a very sad team. It's a very sad team.
Before that, we got to do some prelim. So basically,
Round rankings.
yeah, this is Power
So-
Rankings top 16. This is before
So,
any games have
I
happened
have
after
been
the grace
working
periods.
on I've been working on PRs. I did PRs for S Division and I held PRs for D Division. I would say that both of them had historically impressive actual team comps for this. Where ordinarily D Div has fairly mixed teams, but most of them were really solid. And S Div normally has most of the teams are terrible, but the players play well. But this time the teams are actually good.
And so the players
Unfortunately,
like me can play
B Div
bad.
took this has been unfortunately one of the less good B Div seasons in terms of having good team comps.
Okay.
Normally B Div has really strong team comps, but this time I think they're around the middle of the rock, which is unfortunate because but we'll see.
Hey, it's Keith. While I was editing this, I realized we didn't really specifically touch on something that I thought I'd bring up now. So, that I sort of wanted to talk about. These PRs, I think that they're very sort of tiered, if that makes sense. I think there's just 4 distinct sort of areas of quality. I think the bottom 4 are in one tier, and I think there's a big gap between 13 and 12. And then I think from 11 to I'd say 8 are very similar in quality, and then I think 6 and 7 are very similar in quality, and then I think the top 5 are once again in the league of their own that are all very similar in quality, and I think the bottom 4 are all actually pretty similar in quality. So this is sort of a tier where if this was a PR where if your team was rated a little low, it really probably was about as good as the team below and above it. So there'll probably be people that disagree with this, but at the end of the day, I think this is a pretty balanced, sort of draft for everyone. And yeah, that's it. I just wanted to say that because I thought that was something we should bring up. Yeah. Bye.
Let's just go to 16. We've I think this has been 20 fucking minutes. Number 16 is
East Coast
HZK.
Forwards and the HCK.
Yeah.
No, it's supposed to be a lowercase z. I hate it. Oh God, you removed my edit thing, so I can't even fix it.
Yeah, good.
It's supposed to. Okay, yeah. So basically, HCK was like, "Hey, I have Mega Garchomp and Heatran," and then decided not to draft anything else that made sense.
I mean, okay.
Here's a Conkeldurr though. That's cool. You like Conkeldurr, right?
I mean, Conkeldurr is one of my favorite Pokemon. It's the sort of thing where, I think this is a weird team. It's just a very strange,
team.
very, very strange team.
It's got very low synergy, and it just.
Well, it's got so 2 mons will have synergy with each other, but then they won't necessarily have synergy with anything else, right? Conkeldurr and Slowking, that's got synergy, but but it doesn't have
they were
synergy
like-
with the other stuff, and like
there was like the thought process that I think happened was they were like, well, Mega Garchomp has Sand Force, so I should draft Sand with it.
yeah.
Though one of the major problems with drafting Sand with Mega Garchomp is that, I mean, Excadrill was already gone by the time they took Tyranitar, and it doesn't really have synergy with other Sand mons, which is why you don't tend to see it on Sand teams.
Not too often.
And then it's like,
Well, positively, I think just Garchomp and Lele are a very synergistic offensive combination. Like,
so it's certainly true. It's
Yeah.
more true with the Mega, with the non-Mega one.
yeah,
I
but
think.
I think Mega is a little better with Scale Shot because now you can actually get around the bat speed. Scale Shot's just a cool sort of new tool for it, so that's nice.
I feel like this team, some of it's like really momentum heavy, and then some of it has no momentum. Like, so some of them are just like momentum killers, but then some of them
Yeah.
are like super high momentum.
Like, I'll say this,
It
I don't
just-
think individually, I don't hate any of these Pokemon except for
I disagree.
Thunderous
Oh.
Incarnate.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of that. I think Thunderous Therian is just better. I guess Prankster's kind of cool, but I don't know, I'm a big fan of that.
It's just not very strong, and you're giving opposing teams like Sand Spadef boost potentially. I feel like this team struggles to really punish ground types, because Thunderous is like, oh, I've got a Grass Knot for it, but that's about it. And then it's like Delmise and Slowking, both of which are very slow, and both of which are like weak to Crunch, which an annoyingly large number of Dark types or like ground types get
Yeah.
access to. Like, you're just gonna get like crunched by Hippo and then
Yeah.
like lose half your Delmise, and then they're gonna switch out.
It's an interesting team. I just don't think it comes together very well. But it has
Yeah.
one or two
It really would have
pairs of
benefited
mons
from
work well together. But I think as a draft, it just doesn't work together.
it really, really would have benefited from Spike support.
Yeah,
And like a second steal, I think, would be a big thing for me.
I love Heatran with the second steal. Okay, let's move on to number 15. The Charleston Gay Fables with the coach Parko.
Okay, yeah.
Um,
So here we see that they took a really good round one pick with Mega Deontay. And then they
we've
just
had-
forgot they picked Mega Deontay, and they've got like Victini and Corviknight and Crocodile and like Toxapex.
peek
right?
behind the
They got
curtain.
I've got momentum here with Victini and Corviknight. And they're like, now we've got like an anti-momentum with Crocodile. And now I've got like a momentum breaker with Toxapex. And now I've got Goodra here to absorb Spadef hits. And it's like,
Peek behind the curtain. I like this team a bit. Like, I wouldn't put this team much higher than it is right now, but I do like it more than Electric.
there was the argument we had was whether this team was 15th or 14th.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or
13th.
Or like 13th. 13, 14, and 15. Like, I was just like, we're just going to tie them all at 13th because, like, all three of them,
Well, okay. So positives wise, I actually I like the I kind of like the Corviknight and Toxapex together. I think Mega Deontay's just a stupid Pokemon. I like Goodra for being able to take the Thunderbolts that are probably coming to try to hit the Corv and the what's his name, the Toxapex a lot. Like, I like spikes on I think Chestnut. I think Chestnut's kind of cool, although I don't like the fact that your spin option is Armaldo, which in most cases is not a Pokemon. We said it,
it's not
but
a spin option.
I really like the top probably 5 or 6.
I don't like the top 6 in combination. Like, I really do not think they put great thoughts into how they should work.
Actually,
their Pokemon
honestly,
together.
I like Chestnut too. So I like the top set, but I think the bottom.
I
Rotom. I don't know. It's
I
just,
was talking about why I thought this
Yeah.
was the bottom of the 3 teams in
Yeah.
the 13 scram, was because if I was taking over this team because Parko dropped, I would drop most of this team. I would keep Deontay, and I would maybe keep Pex. I'd probably keep Rotom just because it's very cheap and it's very good for what it is. And I would drop most of the rest of this. Maybe even keep Goodra. I personally, I probably wouldn't keep Goodra just because I don't tend to like keeping big fairy weaknesses that. But the speed control in this team is there's Mega Deontay at 110 speed, and then there's Victini and Staraptor, both of which are weak to rocks, which are gonna want to run Scarves, or you're just losing to anyone with a 95 base speed Scarfer, because the next Scarfer is Crocodile, and then maybe Goodra, maybe Rotom. Though regular Rotom is not a very good Scarfer compared to the other forms because it's a lot less power output. And it's really relying on Hex for increasing its damage output. And then you've got Victini, which is a good revenger as a Scarfer, but I mean, not only does it lose, like I said, a lot of its sustainability by having to run a Scarf and not boots, or like even leftovers or something. When you click V-Create, you drop your speed, so you're very rarely going to be able to clean as a Scarfer. You're only ever going to really be able to revenge.
Yeah, so this team definitely, like, I think the speed is the big issue with this. Like, the speed control problem is a big issue with this team.
I also just think that it's got a lot of discrepancies for how the Mons of the team like to play in regards to momentum, offensive, defensive, and counter, which I just feel like is going to make playing this team a lot more challenging than it needed to be.
I think this is a team that, like, individually I actually like a lot of these Mons. I just don't think they come together so well. Like,
Yeah, I would say that. Though I am actually not a very big Crocodile fan.
Yeah, but like, I think I'm a fan of Crocodile. I'm even a bit of a fan of Staraptor, just because more personally than anything. But I don't know. I just don't think it comes together that well. But this isn't like a unfunctional team or anything. I don't, this is.
I just feel like this team is really clashing with itself in terms of what it wants to do, and it has the major speed problems. Not to mention, Corviknight's gonna probably be running Defog every week, or Rotom is coming and running Defog, and which means that Rotom is either losing sustainability from Pain Split, damage output from combining either Will-O-Wisp or Nasty Plot with Hex or Shadow Ball, or it's gonna be like dropping Gold Switch. So
hey, I've got a question. Has our Moldo been released yet?
Has Armaldo been released this gen?
Yeah.
Every single
Fossil was.
Every single fossil with the exception of Rampardos and Bastiodon was.
Poor Rampardos. Okay, so it didn't get anything cool from like the DLC or anything.
I believe it got Meteor Beam.
Oh, okay.
I can check what its special attack stat is if you know.
No, I just wanted to see if it got. For some reason, I thought it might get Flip Tone because I know it has water moves for some reason.
Oh, it might get Flip Tone.
Yeah, that's what I'm actually.
I would not be surprised if it got Flip Tone. But it's got a nice 70 special attack. Does it get flipped? It does not get flipped.
Ah, well, yeah.
Unless it's.
It'd be more of a bring if it got that, but yeah.
Still has it's got knockoff and like rapids, but just get teleport maybe.
Why would it get teleport?
Tell me why half the things that get teleport, you know?
Okay, I think number 14 now. Charlotte Chimchards with Nathan.
Nathan, as you said in the book.
Oh yeah, I forgot I was just to mispronounce every name. Nathan.
No, it's specifically Nathan. You intentionally mispronounced HCK, so you were very bully about that. But no. I see how it is. Okay.
So Lando T is pretty cool.
Landorus, Draco, Boswell, Gengar, what the fuck is it called? Snorlax, Metagross, Umbreon, Quilladin, Mega Blastoise, Carbink. By the way, WPF mod, Keith Sheldon, instead of bothering to fix the dock and putting the Mega Blastoise and Mega Venusaur sprites on the dock so they work, he just put them on the thing, which is why it's much higher resolution than the other pictures.
Yep. I'm afraid I'll break it.
Bad mod. You should really reconsider his position as mod.
Well, I will throw you into a volcano, I guess.
Personally, I don't understand why Landorus and Boswell are on the same team, because they do very much the same thing. They're very good Intimidate checks to fighting in ground types. They just feel quite redundant.
Boz doesn't have Intimidate?
I said they're physical checks.
Oh, I thought you said Intimidate checks.
I may have said that, but I meant they're like checks to a physical.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Because Boswell's got a very high physical defense stat, and Landorus has a decent phys def stat combined with Intimidate. And then this team's speed is Landorus, Gengar, Coco, which is technically okay, and I think it's like Blastoise at 78, and then I think Boswell's
Metaverse 70.
No, Boswell's faster than that.
Oh, is it? Okay.
What speed is Boswell? 79, so it's 1 point faster than the other one I was just talking about, Blastoise.
Mega Blastoise, yeah.
Yeah, and then it's like Metagross, so they got like a really crap speed, and then you just got like the slow stuff. I'm just not a fan of this.
So, yeah,
Wish support as well.
Big pardon?
No, there's Wish support, but then you have Coco and Boswell, which already have sustainability.
I mean, the Wish is mostly probably going to be going into Blastoise or possibly
Landorus.
Or Wanderers, yeah. So this is the sort of team where I once again, I don't think it's fair, but I think it's going to rely a lot on Coco winning games, and you said this as well.
I don't like the Mega Blastoise as like the water at all. Like,
yeah, you just don't like Mega Blastoise. It does have, there is the terrain.
I don't like Mega Blastoise.
There is the terrain shenanigans that it can get up to.
Wow,
which is,
it's going to be able to threaten opposing water types because the real problem that Mega Blastoise has on this team was that it's walled by opposing water types, even though it's not really walled by opposing water types, even without the electric terrain balls.
Okay, yeah.
Problem is just that it's going to die because it doesn't have leftovers or boots. It's just going to get worn down and die.
Okay.
That's my problem with Mega Blastoise.
Yeah, Mega Blastoise does. It gives decent spin. This isn't a garbage team.
My main problem with this team is that like fire with another move really hurts this team because the fire checks. Snorlax, if it's thick fat, which means it's not immunity, so that's like a thing you have to go there. And Carbink and Mega Blastoise, neither of which I rate particularly high. So I feel like he's very much going to be able to. You
are gonna be like assaulted for that Carbink tank from what I've heard recently. You better watch yourself down on the street, boy.
If this team had like 10 other mons besides Carbink and like had like a more, if this team had like an extra water, and then it also had Carbink, then I would be like, yeah, that's cool. But I just feel like Carbink was maybe not the best decision to make of because I think it cost multiple points. It could have gone like 2 like tier 1 shitty like starter Nanofees, and the team would genuinely look better for it.
Okay.
But instead, they've just got a bunch of like meh mons.
Yeah, I don't know. I like the Quilladin with spikes.
Sorry, the other thing I was saying was about the Buzzwole thing is that like,
yeah,
Snorlax and Umbreon are the special checks, but then half the team is like physical checks.
Yeah.
Which just feels like they've got dedicated way too hard to checking physical attackers.
Yeah. I just think Umbreon's going to be required to do a lot each game as well, like a lot each game.
And in my opinion, as I think I said in the PRs for Estiv, Umbreon is great as long as you don't need to bring it to games where it's not good.
I know what you're saying, but that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
What do you mean? Like,
yeah, I know. But it's like, just on paper, oh, this thing's good unless it's bad.
No. Umbreon is good in draft unless your team relies on it.
Yeah.
It can help flesh out a team, but it should not be the glue that holds your team together.
Yeah. Nah,
which it is in this team, which is my issue with this. Okay. One of my issues with it. One of my several issues with this.
But again, this is an unusable team. I really like Lando T, Coco. I think round 2 Coco is pretty clean. So yeah.
Yeah, no, I think round 2 Coco.
It was definitely not unusable. It's just
wasn't he like 1 from wheel or something?
Yeah, but that's still round 2. Like Coco usually goes round 1. Okay.
Not really. You're seeing it go round 1 last night. He was literally he was 1 from wheel. He was the 15th.
Still round 2. Number 13, Phoenix Sunflorist with King Arthur. 20 Hydreigon, Mega Medicham, Vaporeon, Melmetal, Slowpoke, Galar.
Florges. Arctozolt with Ninetales, Grossel, and Mudsdale. So you guys may notice that the rock is here on Mudsdale and Grotle. You guys may notice that the speed control here is Scarf Hydreigon, Fake Out Bullet Punch Mega Medicham, Quick Draw, Slowbro, and Arctozolt Slush Rush.
Yeah.
And Trick Room also Slowbro, but it doesn't have Teleport, so it's not really great.
So I'm not a fan of this team at all.
The reason I put this team here is because it is very much capable of breaking through the main checks to this team with like just one right prediction. Like it's got the tools to be able to break an opposing team apart without relying on like completely outplaying their opponent every single turn. But it does struggle from feeling pressured to run Hydreigon Scarf a lot, which is not great, or feeling pressured to bring Arctozolt a lot, which means you're also bringing Alola Ninetales, and losing 2 slots to those is not great. But I do think Vaporeon, really decent wish support for this team.
Yeah, because I think
it does have more HP, and Florges as well. Yeah.
Well, in most games, you want to bring the first 5, I think, right? I think it's safe to say. So having to bring Octazalt means you have to cut one of the first 5. You just do. Yeah, so that's not good.
Not great, yeah. And like, if it's not Octazalt, it's probably going to want to be like Slowbro. And then it's so hard to fit a rocker onto this team.
Yeah, and I think you really want I think trying to wear down like the checks to your like breakers, or not check, like wear them down things so that your Melmetal doesn't need to predict anymore is very important. That's you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, it's nice.
Yeah.
I mean, like this team is something where you're really going to feel pressure to run. You're really going to want to run protective pads on the Melmetal, like 8 weeks out of 9, which you can run different support on a team and be able to like more liberally run like leftovers Melmetals.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not only one case of knock. Like this is a 1 knock team, which is kind of iffy.
Not the best.
But like there's some decent pivots here.
Slowbro does get the poison gas, corrosive gas, whatever it's called.
Yep, gotcha.
I believe it does, but I might be wrong. I'll actually just check that.
Corrosive gas, the non-damaging knockoff.
That still no, it doesn't get it. Okay, yeah, that's yeah. So it's only item displacement is torn, which is a very good item displacer, but generally not best as the only one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whenever they pivoted into the first knock, they can keep pivoting into that same knock.
But anyway, after that, let's go to number
12. We have Not Adam and the Guangzhou Gigazards.
Yeah, Deoxy Speed. It's a fast boy.
Yeah, it's Deoxys Speed, this team's main stealth rocker, in combination with Lycanroc and Golurk.
Yeah, but
which are not great stealth rockers.
Yeah.
Like the main stealth rocking set for your Lycanroc, I believe, is the Sash set, which is obviously not very consistent in draft, but removal is a lot more viable. And then there's like Golurk, which is slow and not super bulky, though it is somewhat tanky.
Yeah, no, Rockers is a bit annoying, but I think this seems fine.
And then they have like Grimstyle.
Yeah.
I don't know. This team got a bit lost in the sauce, I think. Hey, it's got a really good Trick Room core with my favorite Trick Room setter, Deoxys Speed. That's right, I can't go a PRs without making a joke about Deoxys Speed setting Trick Room. Even though it's actually probably okay at it, because it also gets teleport and it's bulky.
Yeah, it is actually pretty damn bulky. Because they say Deoxys Speed, but it's more like Deoxys balanced, isn't it? Because it's like, isn't like 95 and everything, and then like 180 speed.
So I'm pretty sure it's a 95 offensively, 90 defensively.
Yeah, it is essentially.
I mean, 50, 90, 90 is not that bulky until you consider the fact that you need to run like 0 speed basically every game.
Yeah.
Unless there's a Scarfer you really want to outspeed,
Yeah. So.
Like, yes, they might have a Scarf, sure, but it just doesn't do too much. It's more so my issue.
Yeah. But then, yeah, I like a lot of these mons.
I'm a fan of like the Rotom Heat Zapdos Sizzle thing.
Yeah.
I just really feel like they go lost in the sauce after that pick. Like, I don't think Mega Venusaur. I think Mega Venusaur is again a bit more of like a defensive momentum mon for this team, which is a lot of offensive momentum. Like you turn into this Venusaur and then you're like forced to double or like stay in, and like I guess you can get like a knock of it, which is all right. But then it's like a Manaphy's another use, and then they have like screens. For some reason.
I'm not exactly sure what the screens are. I guess maybe setting up Nasty Plot on.
Like if Manaphy's still had Tailglow, I think I would understand it better.
I think it's for Nasty Plot Deoxys, probably.
I think that is the thing. I just think that they are probably overestimating Deoxys speed.
I think just the issue is some hazard setting, but it's once again, it's good. It's a decent team.
Their removal is okay. It's Sizzle, Rotom Heat, Drompa.
Yeah.
And I think you'll probably be able to fit it. Like the thing about Rotom Heat and all of the Rotoms that aren't base Rotom is that they are much better at defogging because they don't feel the need to run Wisp to supplement Hex for damage power because they're both much stronger, and their like stab moves are a lot stronger than base 80 unless they're the air slash one, Only spin. Because they don't like that one.
Spin gets stab on default.
It does get stab on default,
Okay, that's anyway, let's just move on to Room.
Room. It's Room.
Dance Rainvolution, which
no, it's Dragon. That was someone else's team.
Yeah.
Wait, why are two people have basically the same thing? Hey,
but honestly,
WPF
this is my favorite name and logo.
What the funniest thing is? I don't know what the funniest thing is. I think it's funny that there are there's two teams that have Dance Dance Revolution names, but I think the other one is not in this div.
Yeah, so there's this Rillaboom and Zeraora. I think that was the wheel pick, which is the same wheel pick as an S Division. Fun fact.
Yes. And then there's Nidoqueen, Primarina, Moltres, Alolan Persian, Cobalion, Carfagrigus, Latias, Mega Ordino, and Maractus.
Yeah.
So before that, Maractus and Carfagrigus used to be Chansey, and I actually really liked this team before. I don't think they should have dropped Chansey and kept Mega Ordino, because that gave them a rocker, and that wasn't Nidoqueen, which is nice. Because
they've got Cobalion as well.
Yeah, Cobalion. Like, I don't think Nidoqueen Cobalion is the best rocking core that you can get. Yeah. One of the main reasons for that being that they're both very threatened by ground moves, so you can't.
You do have Rillaboom, but like so many things are horses. Like they have high horsepower for some reason. This gym.
High horsepower, Swimming Tantrum, Earth Power.
Yeah.
Scorching Trance.
It's just like I think just so many more things have like a ground move that isn't affected by grassy terrain.
In my opinion, Chansey is really good at setting rocks multiple times in battle, in ways that Nidoqueen and Cobalion are not as much.
Yeah.
And I don't think Mega Ordino is very good. Yeah. So that is why I'm not a big fan of the trait. I do like what Carfagrigus does help add to the team. Like, I do understand their concerns about fighting types and why they pivoted towards a ghost type for that. Yeah. I just am not sure that it was worth.
I think this has been a sort of running theme with a lot of these, but I really like the top 5, I'd say. I think the top 5 are pretty good together.
I'll put these like top 5 at the Latias in. That 6 is that 6 is like a genuine 6.
Yeah, like I don't think yeah. It's not bad. I can't say too much about Cobalion. I've never really used it.
Not a big Cobalion fan. I mean, sometimes I'm a Cobalion fan, but right now I'm not a Cobalion fan.
Like I think Maractus is the only thing. It's like, you know, I don't know what it does.
Spikes, I guess. Switch in.
Except
it doesn't learn spikes, does it? Or I thought that was
it does. It does learn spikes. I will check. Spikes.
I will check. It might. It does. Okay. I mean that there. You got spikes. Do they have rapid spin?
No. But
no.
Spikes is.
I mean, maybe this is Maractus' season. We don't know.
But yeah.
If someone it's the season 6 champion, Adida From. You know.
Yeah.
Definitely.
No. Yeah. I mean. Yeah, it's not an unusual team.
It's going to be amazing, like on like the bench, you know. It's like, okay, Maractus, so you can do this.
I like the late round Latias a lot.
I don't know that it was late round. It might have been. No, it wasn't a trade. Yeah, okay, they just got late round Latias. That's solid.
No, it's a decent enough little team. Yeah, let's move on to number 10 with the Brooklyn Bewares with Alphabet Boy. Landorus Incarnate. Slowbro, Raikou, Megalop, Registeel, Comfey,
Muck,
Decky
Dewey,
Double Birds, and Regirock.
So, one thing I would just like to mention is that in round 3, when they took Raikou, the pick that happened immediately after they took Raikou was Mega Aerodactyl.
Yeah.
Now imagine this team, if instead of Raikou, they had Mega Aerodactyl.
Yeah, but I still like this because I think a big problem with Landorus is you have to have a team that means it's never going to want to run Rocks and it's never going to want to run Defog, and I think they have, you know, some decent, like they've got 2 decent Rockers,
which is annoying.
That's fine. I mean, they don't have like ways of putting health back into the Registeel, but
they have Leech Seed, Comfey, and Decidueye, but they don't have like Wish.
Yeah, which I think would actually help this team a fair amount, being able to buff up the Registeel.
I would just like to say that when we were doing the like going through all the teams, Paco and Arthur's teams were very early on, as was the Alphabet Boys, and when we first like got to it, like, hey, this is quite a good team, and then just so many other teams coming and just like I'll be like, oh, this is really comparable to Alphabet Boys. Do we think it's slightly above or slightly below? And we would basically always side with the above. Like this is a solid team.
Yeah, I think most of them are around this. Like Roms is solid as well. I think that like from 12 till I'm gonna say like 4th are pretty close.
I mean, I think Rhode Island is maybe a bit dysfunctional.
Yeah.
But definitely Runes up.
Yeah,
really,
so like there's a bunch of close picks in a row here. Like flip coins could go all
probably
ways.
up to about, I would say, like 12th to 8th. I'm pretty sure the 12th, 11th, 9th, and 8th picks we all specifically tiered in relation to Alphabet Boy.
Yeah.
We're like, is this better or worse than Alphabet Boy? And like I think Rom was Rom. I like literally think Rom was Rom was the wheel. Pretty sure the last thing was Rom's team because we were going through in draft order. I'm pretty sure this thing. It's like, is this better or worse than Alphabet Boys? And we did narrowly lean towards Alphabet Boys. Obviously, Landers. I think I specifically said I think Landers is better than Rillaboom.
Yeah.
And then you said I had a hot take by saying Landers was better than Rillaboom.
For you.
You did. You specifically said it was a hot take. And I thought that Landers was a better mon than Rillaboom.
Anyway, so I like the slow bro being able
people saying hot takes are.
I like the pivot. I like I like
the momentum.
being
The
able
momentum
to,
is there.
Yeah, the momentum's
except
there.
for the register.
I think my only concern is they might want to run. This is a team
Wish
that
support.
might. Oh, they want wish support, and they also might want to have a
different rocker besides Reggie. Besides the
and
Reggies,
also
because
the choice scarfer options are a little suspect. Although
Why
I don't
Dallas?
think I don't think you'll necessarily need them. I think it's just mostly because you never want to run scarf. Like that's the big problem with
My favorite choice scarf for
Incarnate.
heavy duty boots, Talonflame.
Yeah, the biggest problem with Landorus Incarnate is that it cannot run any item except Hyperwalk, or else it's just not as good.
All
So-
weakness policy.
Yeah, weakness spot. But yeah, I think it's managed to I think they've managed to avoid that pretty well. So I think it's just gonna be pretty good.
I will say the main
And I like the
problem,
rest of
the main
strat.
downside to Landorus Incarnate is that you need to run Rash with Earthquake and Earth Power if you're playing against Dragalge, just in case it's a Soul Fest
Shut
with
up.
max HP.
Shut up. Number
So
9.
it's very important to turn.
Mad Hatter.
Number 9. This is
Queen
a
Eileen.
come on Eileen, oh I swear. So just to let you guys know, I am biased because I did do a scrim match against Eileen and against no other coaches.
You have a VGC team, sir.
I have a VGC team. My only rocker was Necrozma and I couldn't fit rocks on it.
Anyway, this
It's
is
very funny because it took 20% from Dark Pulse from Modest Mega Houndoom.
I'm gonna say this right now.
22%. That's
I
crazy.
don't. Please tell me, why do you have both Gliscor and Zygarde?
I think that it's funny that they have both. They've got pretty decent ice answers
Yeah, they've
around
got.
it.
Oh, yeah, they've got Jirachi
They have, and would you look at this? They have Spikes, Toxic Spikes, Stealth Rock, and a Rapid Spitter. That's super pop. Very exciting. I'm very
Yeah.
happy to. You love to see the Rapid Spinner
like
with the
you
spikes.
did say this. Defensively, you do need to prep differently for both of them, which is nice. But offensively, you prep basically the same. But they've got Jirachi and they've got Suicune, and
And
you know what?
There are things which check
Houndoom's decently
Zygarde.
bulky.
Sorry, there are things which check Zygarde that don't check Gliscor,
Yeah, and I think vice versa, to be honest.
like grass types.
yeah,
I think that there are less Pokemon that check Gliscor that don't check Zygarde. And like sorry, not just grass types, but fairies was the other thing that was going on. Because if you come up here with like Clefable with like Moonblast Flamethrower, you are not going to beat Gliscor,
yeah, exactly. So that's
but
nice.
you will beat Zygarde. So yeah,
Yeah, Regieleki, I think it's not like needed to be offensive on this team, if you know what I mean. Like,
it's a good support pin.
yeah, so it's actually going to be a decent support pivot here, even though this isn't the best team for dealing with.
It also
ground,
is the
but it's
Scarfer.
fine. It is the Scarfer. It is the best speed control. Yeah, I mean, they've also got Jirachi Kiss, pretty strong
And they
core.
have a Suicune, and they've got like very good wish support for the Zygarde.
Yeah.
Even both Jirachi and Blissey are good options.
Yeah, and yeah, Blissey also
Mega
gets
Houndoom.
Ice Beams and Moonblasts, so
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
pretty solid. I like the team.
yeah.
And
it's-
Skull.
For a
This
team
is
with both
very
Zygarde and Gliscor, this is pretty cool.
Yeah. They did quite well with it.
Yeah.
Now we get to the last team that was tiered with specific reference to Alphabet Boys Pokemon Wares. The Bakersfield
I don't know, like, I didn't know wherever to place this, so I think middle is fine, because this is the most Miles draft I think I've ever seen in
This
my
is
life.
very mild. This is a Miles moment. This really is a Miles moment. So you may have noticed
I
what
love
this
this team, and I hate this team. It's-
You've noticed what this team's now. If you're someone who is not like Keith with the very smooth brain, where I was like, oh, this team's speed control is fire. And you know, he was focusing around like he said Scarf Nidoking, where I mean, obviously Scarf Dracovish would beat the main Scarf, but no, the team's speed control is the 2 on Burden Mons in connection with the grassy terrain Thwacky. That is the goat speed control. I mean, you got your acrobatics fucking Hitmonlee. You gotta come in, clean up every single game. Every game, without exception.
Yeah.
I mean, with the +1 Grassy Seed, it might even live like non-stab bullet punch. You know? But it's like 35 defense or whatever its stat is.
It's quite low.
Is it actually 35? It might be 53. No, it's 53 and it's 35 attack.
Yeah.
I remember I ran special once, it was funny.
So yeah,
Too good.
this is just a team of I wish I could say something about this team, but I don't know what to say.
It has spikes, it has stealth rock, it has toxic spikes, and it has rapid spin.
Yeah. It's got Dracovish. It's got the Make-A-Wish Foundation, which is
the Make-A-Wish Foundation. Hell yeah.
It's got it's got, you know, it's got checks to remove the water absorbers, kinda, sorta. It's got triple water. That's pretty cool.
So a lot of water types. I mean, everyone knows that no water absorber can stand up to a fire blast from Volcanion.
Well, you know, not a lot of them can stand up to, you know, Zapdos and, you know, the Wacky's pretty cool.
Like, Grasslock Ren, I mean, with spikes up is really... Like, it's as big hazards as possible. I mean, Nidoking's good. Smash everything.
Yeah, exactly. This is actually, this is such an odd team on paper, but I like it, and it works.
Also has wish support with Mega Aggron, which is good.
Yeah. I think I prefer a better Wisher than Slurpuff.
Like, you just have to kind of pick between like being wish support Slurpuff and being like unburdened Sweet Buzz Slurpuff.
Look, it's just.
No, I'm very excited to see what Miles does with this team.
Yeah,
I mean, we're excited enough that we put him in the top half of the PRs. You know, I think that says it.
This is just an extreme Miles team, and I love everything about it.
I just realized that like the last three people is like the B of B Div, if we're like doing by the SABCD, right?
Yeah, that makes them the most B all.
Yeah, he's a real B. So now to team number 7, the 7th team that is number 7.
Golducks with Risky.
Yeah, he's got my rocket, Necrozma. That's definitely the Necrozma I have.
So Feeny, Barbaracle, Necrozma.
Ferrothorn, Thrak, Necrozma, Dugtrio. So a lot of the tiering around a lot of the decision making around this was like, is the Dugtrio good? And ultimately we came to decisions that yes, the Dugtrio was good.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of Pokemon which are capable of sweeping, where they really only need 1 or 2 Pokemon removed to do so. And Dugtrio is well positioned on this team with a lot of hazard support, technically spin support, though it's not great spin support, technically wish support, though it's not great wish support, to really remove a lot of those problematic ones.
They've got Kangaskhan and Flareon.
Yes, technically wish support.
Yeah.
And in all honesty, Dugtrio is definitely a month that I'm a pretty decent fan of on this team. I think this team's got a real usage for out of like an Assault Vest Dugtrio to like switch in on an Nidoking and remove that from the game and stuff like that. Like, it's not something that just relies on like, I need a Choice Band Dugtrio and I need them to not be Shed Shell on the 1-1.
Yeah, or like Sugar Berry or some bullshit.
Because with the Feeny, the Tarak, and the Necrozma, and to some extent Ferrothorn, are all mons that are capable of like cleaning a team in the late game.
Yeah.
Thundurus as well to some extent, and Sableye to some extent as well. So you really allows him to pick his targets. It gives him so many options to like read and adjust the board state that a lot of opponents out there have.
And worst case scenario, it doesn't bring it. The Pokemon they need to check. No, it's in like worst case scenario, he doesn't bring Dugtrio. The Pokemon that it's gonna trap still needs to bring Shed Shell, right?
Yeah.
Or Shocker Berry, which is gonna make it like, you know.
What it's going to need in terms of like which mon's going to need Shed Shell.
And I think this team can take advantage of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, yeah. So that's really solid.
I think the only problems we had with it were Avalon.
Fairy types.
Yeah,
Avalon's
fairy
a real
types.
spinner.
Yeah, fairy types like Fable just goes in against this team, like it really does.
No, this was actually the team where I mentioned that Flareon it can come against Clefable.
Yeah, it can.
It's like one of the fairies it's best against.
I think outside the Flareon though,
as like the fairy type that scares a lot of like it's got knocked basically.
Yeah.
And Flareon like I was like Flareon can actually come into the Clefable matchup, like depending on what the actual team is, but like because it actually doesn't mind too much Clefable.
Yeah,
in
so it's
comparison to
actually
most fires
it's
that
a
don't
well
like
put together team, except I think for the Everlog. But apart from that, it's pretty good.
I mean, Diablo, yeah, it would really, I think, have been a service to this team if it had just like combined the Avalon and the Flareon into maybe like a Delphox if they could afford it.
Yeah. Anyway,
Actually, I don't know the maths for that. But yeah.
I don't even know if it's good. Anyway,
Delphox is good.
number 6.
No, yeah,
Team Liquidation with Beanie.
it's Beanie Gumini.
They have Mega Galard, which is my
Yeah, instant 6th place. They also have an Aegislash for some reason. I don't really understand why Aegislash is on Mega Galley teams a lot these days. It's not good, but you know.
We just hate it, I think, a lot more than most.
I don't think Aegislash is completely terrible. I just have heard people ban Aegislash, and that makes me shoot myself.
There's also Mandibuzz, which is pretty. Which is like there's Mandibuzz and there's Swampert, which are 2 pretty good slow pivots, and then also Arcanine's a slow defensive pivot with Teleport.
It's got good removal between Mandibuzz and Rotom, which are really good thing, and then Whimsicott is also a decent option. Venomoth can also defog in some matchups. It's got Goth, which is actually pretty decent on this team because of how specific a lot of the checks are. It's got Pert, which like is really decent this gen, and it's got best Scarfer in Lantern. So in all honesty, the main reason that we put this in 6th rather than in like a higher position was because we weren't actually super big on the Scarf options.
Yes, the Scarf options are a bit dicey because I think, it's Rotom. Like a lot of the time, you don't actually like Arcanine has the speed for Scarf, but you really don't want to run it Scarf. You want it to just sort of have more options than that.
Miltank has the speed for Scarf, but doesn't really have the damage output for
exactly. Like same with like Venom. Also, like the special, like outside of I think
Aegislash, yeah. So
Aegislash, their special breaking options, like without setup, are very limited.
The team that did the trade that was weird.
I don't know.
No, it wasn't. This was not the team.
Because like Rotom can, but it needs to Nasty Plot, and like I think Venomoth can, but it needs to what's the name? What's that?
Quipperdance
a few times. So I think especially they're kind of it's a bit tough, but I just like this sort of defensive core, and then they just have like a couple of.
No, it was him. He dropped Porygon Z, which I think really helped flesh out his special offense. He dropped Porygon Z and Trubbish for Venomoth and Gothorita, which I do rate the Goth, but I feel like the Porygon Z might have been better. Probably isn't another Scarf option, but it is also like that special power that the team. But also, like I can understand why he did it. He dropped a fighting weakness on a team which does not love scrappy fighting types at all, and picked up like the Goth and Venomoth. So I can definitely understand that.
No, it's not. But Mega Galad I think is just broken. So I think it's really, really good because whenever I play it,
to quote myself, Mega Galad has triple axle is broken.
Yeah. Okay, number 5. Got the Maryland Terrakians.
And QWERTY.
With QWERTY. Mega Garchomp and Mega Mawile. I don't know how you did it, but you did it.
It's
good job.
Powerful.
That is strong.
So just for context, the pick before the Garchomp was Greninja.
Yeah, I think maybe it's because it's 18 points. This is like, it hasn't been 18 points very long.
So some people are not a fan of 18-point Garchomp. I don't really agree with them. I think it's
Garchomp's so
scary.
Garchomp's done. Look, I think Garchomp's it's just so good. So I really like that's just a strong top 2. Then they support it pretty well. Porygon is will be good for trickery.
I actually think Blaziken is a very solid addition to this team in terms of it's got a lot of immediate breaking power on both sides, so it's a bit unpredictable.
Yep.
And it does help really flesh out this team's special offense, which otherwise might have been a bit lacking between, realistically, it's like the Sylveon, it's like Life Orb Garchomp, it's like Sup.
Yeah.
I think Blaziken's quite a good addition.
But both those two struggle to break steals. Blaziken doesn't at all.
Mystify helps, but yeah.
Yeah. That depends on the steal. But,
Blaziken really struggles to break the Aegislash if Aegislash is Flash Fire. It has to use Scorching Sands, And what if it's on an air balloon?
Yeah, so I like this is another one of those
Sylvali
teams
also
where,
helps flesh out their offense.
Yeah, this is a good Sylvali team. I think this is just a good Sylvali team because it can be like, it's not going to be forced into bring
because it's their second steel type.
Well, it's not going to be forced into being 1 or 2 types every week.
Yeah. It
So
might
could be
wind up being a
flexible.
dark type, I think, more often than most
Yeah.
other types because of
True.
the No, not to say that's a criticism of the team, but I do think that in reality, Spiritom's not a real dark type in the sense of it doesn't resist dark and ghost, which are some of the main things that dark type wants to do. So that it may feel that pressure. That said, Porygon 2 and Sylveon pretty decent at taking those ghost and dark moves respectively. It's just about the roll compression.
Yep. So not bad.
My thoughts.
Pretty good team. It's pretty.
All right, and now we get to Mr. Face Reveal himself. The Hell Creek Head smashes Rizux.
Rizix got a round 3 Mega Aerodactyl. Riz, go fuck
First of all,
yourself.
thank you. Barbaracle. Yes, go fuck yourself, Riz, for getting that round 3 Mega Aerodactyl.
That's so good. How
Go
do you
fuck
do
yourself.
it?
How did Greninja go before Mega? I don't understand.
Oh, Mega Aerodactyl's so good.
Yeah, Mega Aerodactyl was the one that I keep leaving as like my first round pick, and it gets taken, and then I don't get it. And
Yeah.
I'm sad.
Yeah, so we just had to express our frustration because we had basically the same reaction. This is a stupidly good team.
Very, very nice. Mew, Kamo, Mega Arrow, young Beardley himself, Empoleon, Solid, Zarude is a monk that I like, and more people are warming up to. Rebon Basic. Riz was really salty about the fact that he took Rebombi. I don't really get it. I do like it. I think that he's got decent enough splashes to opposing Darks that he doesn't need to worry too much about Rebombi as his fairy. It does have recovery. If he's worried about dragons, it can take multiple hits from dragons because it's immune to them.
Yeah, it's not bad. I think the main issue with this team was the Glastrier. I don't get it so much.
So we were talking about it, and Keith is very much not a fan of like the Chandelure, Stunfisk, Glastrier, Regigigas picks.
Oh no, I know.
different
I like Chandelure. What? I like Chandelure.
You said the last 5
No,
when we were
I
talking.
should have said meant the no, because I also like the poison. I also like Garuda.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. I actually like Chandelure
Yeah.
here. I think the issue is Glastrier. Because you explained to me why Regigigas might be good, and that makes sense.
It's okay for 3 points.
Yeah.
Just because it's very tanky.
It's a very tanky. It's a very good ghost answer because it will just spam knockoff forever and resist ghost forever.
And let me forget your block.
And have like a ton of spin out, so that's good.
It is-
Glastrier, I don't get it at all. Like the Trick Room setup isn't very well. It's a good Pokemon, but it's not a good Pokemon setting Trick Room. Oh, actually no, there's also Mew, but I don't know if you want to make Mew your Trick Room.
Like I said, the Trick Room set is on the team Mew and Chandelure.
Yeah.
Which is something. This team also doesn't have spin when it has like the Gavoda, which is
And also Webs.
yeah. So I think generally you need less removal when you're trying to run webs. Because you're generally running more like HO rather than like a more protracted game plan that tends to coincide with like spikes and toxic spikes.
I mean, if
But it's okay. The other thing we mentioned, I think, was wish support, was it?
no, it was something about Stunfisk being like the only. Stunfisk is like the main check to. What
Rock.
was it? You're
No.
Rock and Electric, really.
No, it's not rock. No, I was talking about the thing, and I'm like, it's not the main rock check because you've got the Empo and the Kamo. And the Kamo. It's not the main electric check because you've got the Kamo and Zarude.
Yeah,
It's
what
not the
was it?
main
I think.
like I was talking about how Stunfisk being the ground was all right here because it doesn't really. A lot of the main things that grounds need to check are already pretty organically checked by other members
I
of
guess.
his team on account of having a good fighting type and a good grass type. Like I had Kamo and Zarude in the team recently, and I was quite a fan of the combination of the two.
But look, it is. I think it's just a good team. It's a pretty damn good team.
Yeah, it's very solid.
Yeah, it's gonna do pretty well. Welcome back to WPF, Riz. Number 3.
Yeah, unfortunately, not every div Riz. Well, we need to bring back every div results, guys. Please.
Number 3.
Post
I
in the
hate
comments
this.
below, and in your relevant div channels, every div Riz back when.
Hey Paradoof, you'd be number 1, but I hate this logo so much it knocked you down 3 points. And to be honest,
That's also not true.
It's not
The
true.
reason-
But
like,
I wanted to pretend that because this is the worst thing I've ever seen. I hate you.
I mean, you didn't have the same problem with Tons Swine Premium, which is same thing, but for
Because the Swinubs don't. Look at what the Braxians are doing.
You're not seeing what the Swinubs are doing.
No, I haven't paid attention
It's
to it.
hand-drawn art. Oh no, it's very concerning. Alright, so here we have Oshifoshi, which is it's a Pokemon that a lot of people like or something.
It's pretty good. Like
Spectria.
Oshifoshi and Spectria is a good combo. Celesteela
And
around
then
3 is not
Celesteela.
bad.
See, I would like this combo more until I tried using it, and then I wasn't really a big fan of it.
Yeah,
I won,
okay.
but like
These are all Pokemon we aren't huge fans of, but even we have to admit they work together really well.
Am I not? I am a big fan of Mega Voltaria. I think Mouse-One's broken.
Yeah.
I really,
I meant
really
the
do
top
rate
3.
the
I specifically meant the top 3. I don't think we're big fans of the top 3, but
I mean,
like, together
I am a
very good.
Celesteela fan. I am a Celesteela fan.
There you go.
I don't think this is the best. But you got round 3 Celesteela, so like, how the fuck am I gonna knock it?
Yeah. Oh, with knockoff. Yeah. No, I think this is a
Speaking of
decent team.
knockoff, this team is like 2. Right? It's Mouse-One and Victory Bell,
Yeah.
which is
not bad, but like at the end of the day, this is just a
Sorry.
very good team that has a couple of modes to it. I really like the Sun mode that they added in. It's got double spin. That's pretty cool. Having Spectria and Urshifu together is just good because, as it turns out, Urshifu can beat up dark and normal types, and that's what
didn't know that.
Spectria
Thank you for telling
needs
me.
to have. Well, this is why you watch to find out this stuff.
They also drafted Widgely Tough, which is the greatest wall possible to Spectria.
Yeah. And
It's
also
powerful
Dragapult.
Widgely Tough.
Yeah, it's a good team. I think it's a very good team.
No.
I really like it.
So they didn't draft the best possible counter to Oshifoshi though, which is Shelmet.
Okay. Yeah, no, this is a cool team. I think it's going to do pretty well. Please get a better logo next time.
It's a
Number
good
2.
logo. Mega Voltaria is also cool on this team.
Yeah, Mega Voltaria is really good on that team. But number 2.
I remember looking briefly at the team, like, wait, is Wigglytuff the main fairy with the new Sheaford? No, it's got the Altair as well.
Lake Trio
Not two.
Limited.
LT Limited. Oh, it's limited. It's
Yeah.
not supposed to... Okay, I see what happened here.
Yeah. Kachurchin?
What is the L...
LTD, I think, isn't that what it means?
What?
Limited, I think that's what LTD means.
Yeah, it is. Sorry, you just said Pinchurchin. I'm like, what?
No, Kachurchin, Pinchurchin? I don't know how to say his name.
Catchuri! He's got like a weeb name.
Yeah, I don't know how to say it. I'm sorry, person.
Catchuri! Have you never... You've seen anime. You've seen people go, hello, it's me!
No, I haven't,
They put
because
on the
weebs
end
should
of
be
someone's
shot.
name as a form of cutesy. Because
Ah.
you're a weeb, and you keep making... You made me watch an anime where one of the characters did that.
Anyway, we've got Mega
Oh my
Scizor.
God.
This is a very good team. This is a very good team.
Very good team. This team was very, very, very almost first.
Yeah,
it's-
I really love Mega Scizor, Rotom Wash, and Kyurem as a top 3.
So good. Cinderace and Azelf, good speed control. They picked up the Chansey in the thing at like the end.
Yeah, they have
I'm a
two
massive-
very good rock. They have 2 very good rockers.
Yeah. So in the post game thing, they dropped Mienshao, Incineroar, Lickitung, and they picked up Scrafty, Cinderace, and Chansey. And man, this team went from not great to a really, really good.
Yeah.
Like, Cinderace really provides a lot to this team in terms of speed. Mienshao wasn't. Chansey is so... I mean, obviously we know that Lickitung is absolutely incredibly broken. Like, I mean, that's just goes without saying. But Chansey provides a lot to this team in terms of relieving rocks pressure from Hippo, which is nice when you already have Azelf and Cradily to also
But
help
also,
do
I
so.
think it actually really likes the teleport that it's going to
Yeah, it
provide.
really does enjoy the teleport. Chansey manages to maintain the momentum this team wants, or at least members of this team wants, without having to sacrifice the defensive backbone to it, which is really cool.
I think
Obviously,
the only
Blissey-
issue
Blissey-
possibly here is
Blissey-
immediate breaking power, because the only real immediate breaker is
Well, it's
Kyurem.
Kyurem Cinderace, right?
Yeah, but then there's also like you've got a lot of setup, so it doesn't really matter. Like you've got
Yeah.
Blood 8 stuff, you've got Sword Stance, Mega Sizzle, you've got Nasty Plot, Rotom Wash, you've got you've got
Yeah,
set
you've
up
got setup
threats.
Azelf, you've got
Yeah.
Bulk Up Cinderace,
Yeah,
you've
you've
got
got setup
like
threats.
Curse, Hippo, Cradily, which will
DD,
be-
Kyurem, like there's setup threats all over. It's a
And
very
I mean,
solidly defensive.
Bandit Kyurem and Bandit Specs Kyurem and Bandit Cinderace are really a lot of imminent power on either side of the scale, which is quite nice.
Yeah.
Just more of a concern against like Amon which checks those things, which, I mean, nothing really does, right?
Yeah.
The reason Mamoswine is as good as it is because it's like Kyurem, but with a stab on the Earth Power.
Yeah. This is just a very, very, very good team.
Yeah, very solid.
Yeah, one of the very close to number one, but we went.
It was funny because I was going over this when we originally got to Catching. Catching was one of the earlier draft picks. I was going off about, man, that round 3 Kyurem was really good, and then like the other round 3s have had like Cell Stealer and like Mega Aerodactyl and like Drakian.
Well, I mean,
it makes it a little less impressive now, but it's still very good round 3 pick.
I think
It's just a more realistic round 3 pick.
Number 1, the Alberta Chomps with
by 7
Yabot.
You may notice that there's a lot of weed, the marijuana.
Okay, so this is just like really, really, really good. This is
Adios Clefable. So this team, I do enjoy. You know, sometimes, as you may have seen if you watch the D-Div thing, I don't even know if that's going to stay the same. But the team I worked out for D-Div is just like this. It's a team with 9 Pokemon. You see the Latios, Clefable, Explore, Shaman, Crobat, Jellicent, Odino, Megatriata, and Zebstrika. Obviously, Zebstrika is a little less consistent than you wanted in your 9th one, but you know, very solid team in terms of like you've got really good speed control with. I'm actually a big fan of like Megatriata with Excadrill because it's really like a soundless drill team. But Megatriata does give you that thing option while also being a very solid one in and of itself. Crobat's really good pivot. Obviously, Jellicent and Shaman are amazing Scald Sponges, which this team really appreciates. On top of already having Clefable with the Magic Guard, you've got Odino as a regen mon and as Wish support. And this team doesn't really rely on hazards, but it still does have the good spin option there. And Clefable and Latios just deal so much damage. Like, it's ridiculous how good Clefable is.
It's a very good... And then you've got Infernape, which is pretty cool. Yeah, so that was the V-Div Power Rankings.
If you guys... And now remember, if you have any criticism of anything, make sure that it's the fact that 7-Year-Bot drafted Infernape, and make sure that in your relevant div channel, you type every div Riz back when. Thank you guys for watching. This has been Keith Sheldon's channel. You should probably subscribe to him, and maybe even to me. Ulu. Thank you. Okay.
And before we end this, I'd like to wish every single coach in BDiv good luck to this season. Hope you all have fun. And, you know, I hope that these power rankings are as inaccurate as possible. Bye.